Have you ever felt exhausted without doing anything physically demanding? No running, no effort, and yet you feel drained. You wake up tired, even after sleeping. You go through the day, barely holding your focus, and by the end of it, it feels like your energy was slowly taken from you. But when you try to understand why, nothing makes sense. You weren't that productive. You didn't push yourself that hard. So why does it feel like your mind has been working all day? And the strangest part is, you keep telling yourself, I just need rest. But what if rest is not what you actually need? Welcome to Silent Shift, a place where we explore the quiet shifts, shaping how we think, focus, and experience the world. If you enjoy ideas like this, consider subscribing and joining us, because sometimes what drains you the most is not what you notice. Not physical, but mental. Tiredness used to be simple. You work, you get tired, you rest, you recover. Your body had limits, and you could feel them clearly. But now, you can spend an entire day doing almost nothing physically and still feel completely exhausted, because the fatigue you're experiencing is not coming from your body. It's coming from something less visible, your mind. And unlike physical effort, mental effort doesn't always feel intense. It feels constant. The invisible load, your mind is always processing, even when you think it's not. Small decisions, unfinished thoughts, things you said earlier, things you should have said instead. Tiny things, almost invisible, but they don't disappear. They stay quietly running in the background, and over time, they accumulate, not as noise, but as weight. Too many open loops. Your brain doesn't like unfinished things. Every unanswered message, every delayed task, every unresolved thought stays open, like tabs that were never closed. And even when you're not actively thinking about them, they're still there, using energy, waiting. And the more you carry, the harder it becomes to feel clear. The illusion of rest. You sit down, you stop moving, you think you're resting, but your mind doesn't stop. It keeps moving, switching, processing, jumping from one thing to another. And what looks like rest is actually another form of activity. So instead of recovering, you stay mentally engaged, and slowly, that constant activity turns into exhaustion. Constant micro-decisions. What to do next, what to check, what to respond to, what to ignore. Tiny decisions, but they never stop. And each one takes a small piece of your energy. So by the end of the day, you're not tired from one big effort. You're tired from hundreds of small ones. Decisions that never gave you a break. No real pause. There are no real pauses anymore. Only transitions. From one task to another. From one thought to the next. Even your breaks are filled with something. And without real pauses, your mind never resets. It just continues, in a different form. The pressure to stay engaged. There's a quiet pressure to always stay engaged, to always be aware, to always know, to always respond, even when nothing urgent is happening. And that constant state keeps your mind alert, not intensely, but continuously. And that continuous alertness is exhausting. When doing nothing feels wrong, the moment you try to stop, something feels off, a subtle discomfort, as if you're wasting time, as if you should be doing something, even when you don't need to. And that feeling pushes you back into activity, again and again. The kind of rest you're missing, real rest, is not just stopping your body. It's stopping the constant input, the constant switching, the constant processing. It's not about doing less. It's about receiving less. Because your mind doesn't recover just by stopping movement. It recovers when it finally has space. The shift does not come from more rest. It comes from a different kind of rest. A moment where nothing is added. No input, no distraction, no engagement, just stillness. At first, it will feel uncomfortable, almost unnatural. But if you stay, something changes. Your thoughts slow down. Your mind begins to clear. And the weight that you've been carrying, without noticing, starts to lift. So maybe you were never truly tired. Maybe your mind was just overloaded, carrying more than it was meant to hold. And maybe what you've been calling rest was never real rest. Because sometimes the most powerful recovery doesn't come from doing less. It comes from finally giving your mind the space to finally stop. This is Silent Shift. Stay aware, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next shift.